Irmelin, wonderful to have you here for the reflection of day 2 at the Prague Transformation Conference. So would you like to share with us some of the inspirations, some of your impressions, some of the takeaways that you gathered from today?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I think I'm really struck by the amount of care and compassion and curiosity there is in this group of people. So I think that through all the more kind of cognitive insights, that's something that really kind of shines through, both from yesterday and today. And I was hopeful for that, because I remember that from previous conferences, but it's been feeling so good to swim in that these past days. I think that what really stands out for me is this willingness to stretch amongst both presenters and participants, and that in a sense we're all presenters and all participants. There's a very kind of low hierarchy feeling. That makes it also, there's some hotshots in the room, but there's really no sense of that in reality. I feel it's really such a open space. And in terms of the conversations and the insights that are being generated, my feeling is really this commitment for caring for our relations and using relations actively in our transformations research is a theme that comes up for me and has come up in a lot of the presentations. And yet I feel like with all this care and all this space for exploring, I would love more inquiry together into what that really means for the practice. And also, the notion of, we were in this assessment session and just when is it a transformative experience, and who decides that, and how can we, do we attempt to measure that? How on earth would you do that? And so the necessity to remain open, radically open to process, to that care space, and at the same time being specific enough, being also discriminating against those things that fall outside of that transformations to sustainability agenda, which I think needs to adhere to care and compassion and justice. So something that kind of a question I have after today is like, how do we remain radically open to different ways of knowing and knowledges while staying real sharp on that not negotiable outcomes that we want to see?
Wow, yeah. Thanks for your sensing, actually. A lot of sensing, I can sense it. And also for raising new questions. I hope that we can investigate into them in the upcoming day, actually, tomorrow.
And onwards.
And onwards. Deepen our practice together. The question of today, the headliner question, more or less, is how do we mobilize knowledge and create agency and/or capacity for transformative partnerships? So what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think there's something about that idea of creating agency that I'm in doubt about. That it's more about recognizing our agency and leaning into our agency. And I think there's been, we heard from Otto Schama, and I was in this tea practice session where we were really also leaning into the senses and that individual inner work. But yeah, my sense is that we need to combine that with real sharp strategic practices for not just working with ourselves and our own agency, but creating partnerships where an integral part of that partnership is to identify and lift up and create space for the agency of others. So I think in partnership, I think that is about that, lifting up each other, pointing to and supporting each other's leadership, again, regardless of a hierarchy, but yeah, and getting to the practices that will enable that kind of support system.
Yeah, totally true. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on the topic, and have a wonderful evening and rest of the conference.
I will. Likewise.